Just preceding today's gospel reading, Jesus had gone up the mountain with a large group of disciples, students, who wanted to learn more about Jesus and his message. While on the mountain, Jesus prayed all night to God. When the sun came up, Jesus called everyone together, and from that large group, Jesus chose 12 of them and called them apostles. I can't help but wonder how this public event of selecting a small group of people and then giving them a new name affected the 12 who were chosen. I also can't help but wonder how it affected the ones who were not picked, those without a title, to be forever known as a disciple in the crowd. I mean, none of them had any clue as to what it really meant to be picked or not to be picked as an apostle. But I can imagine that some egos were elevated while others deflated. The Gospel of Luke does not tell us that the 12 who were named apostles did anything to earn their title, just that Jesus picked them. Were they stronger, taller, louder, smarter? Were those 12 better than the rest? We don't know, but we do know that being named an apostle gave the 12 more privileges than the rest. The apostles were Jesus' inner circle. They not only got to hear and experience what the crowd or those regular disciples got to experience, the apostles got to hear special explanations from Jesus and be witnesses to it all. The privilege that came with the title apostle led to an opportunity of deeper understanding, as well as being given later in the gospel power and authority over all demons and the power to cure diseases. Jesus knew what could happen when the privilege of one group of people is seen as making them better than the rest. Jesus' entire ministry is grounded on healing those who are seen as less than, those who have been pushed down and cast aside. Jesus not only set out to heal these people, he also was sent to heal the system that pushed those people down. Jesus witnessed wealthy and powerful Jewish leaders use their privileges to ignore their own scriptures, their own laws and traditions that were meant to close the gaps of separation and level things out for all God's people. Jesus' first teaching in the Gospel of Luke is a proclamation of his mission, God's mission, with the reminder from the words of the prophet Isaiah, who preached, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Most who flocked to Jesus were held captive within the imbalance of the system and longed for the year of the Lord's favor, which is the year of Jubilee. Every 7 years, debts were to be forgiven, and those who were cast out were restored to their families and restored to society. Every 7 years, the playing field was made level, and everyone started fresh. Jesus has just selected 12 of his students to form a new group and gave them a special title and privilege. How will this keep from turning into the exact imbalance that Jesus came to heal? After selecting his inner circle, verse 17, the beginning of today's gospel says, Jesus came down with the 12 apostles and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea, Jerusalem, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. Now, the places where leaders choose to give their speeches are part of the story they are telling. The places represent or symbolize something within the message they are conveying. There are even times when the location of a speech, it even holds more meaning in the message than maybe the words themselves, or at least equal to the words. Today's gospel reading is one of those times. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus offers a similar lesson or sermon on a mountain. Today we hear that Jesus has come off the mountain, off the elevated place, to a level place. Jesus not only positioned himself, but also his newly named apostles on leveled ground. Jesus has brought his apostles off a perceived place of honor and status to a place where they, along with everyone else, can see eye to eye with their neighbor. Though they each had different roles and different responsibilities in society and different roles and responsibilities within this new movement, Jesus called everyone to live into the equal and level life of Jubilee. A multitude of people had come to hear Jesus, to be healed of their diseases and cured of their unclean spirits. The whole crowd tried to touch Jesus. They tried and they tried to touch him. They sought to enter into this level playing field that Jesus offered, but the crowd was too big. It was then that the power of God came out from Jesus and healed them all. On that day, in that moment, those gathered were leveled in God's love. But then what? Where were they to go? What were they to do after such experience? When we have life-changing experiences with God's love, it is often hard to explain our experiences to others. My guess is Jesus knew this. He knew this, which meant he needed to give them something to take with them, something on the level to reflect on and share. Jesus' Sermon on the Plain, which it is called, offers a teaching that levels the playing field for us and for all who hear it. Jesus offers up an equal balance of blessings and woes. He offers a blessing of hope to the poor, the hungry, the weeping, and the reviled. He follows those with a warning to the rich, the full, to those who are laughing now, and to those who are praised and revered. No matter who hears these blessings and woes, our lives should be changed by them. Those who are blessed are being lifted up by God's promises and love, and those who heed the warnings are leveled by God's love and begin living into God's promises. Jesus' words match the location and reinforce that moment when the power of God healed them all. We don't need more mountaintop experiences. We need more experiences living as Christ on level ground. Experiences that reveal our own privilege and guide our actions to be those worthy of the title that we claimed at our baptism. Amen.